So we're going to learn how one strategy can go across different platforms. And what that means is the same idea, the same strategical idea can be used in different techniques. And when you understand these strategies, you can apply them to techniques or combinations of techniques that no one's ever thought of before, and that's how you get better. So let's take a look at one strategy across multiple platforms. So the first one we're going to do is striking. So if Dom, go righty for me there, Dom. Military righty. Thank you. He's military righty. So the first one we're going to do, I always call this a Mongolian attack, since the Mongols would kind of ride backwards and suck you in. So they'd come at you and attack you, and then you'd be like, oh, we're going to get them. And then they would ride away, and you'd be like, oh, we got them. And then they would ride right into a trap, and they would turn around on their horses and shoot you with arrows. So we're going to see how that, it's a kind of a quick explanation, but you'll see how it works here in a second. But we'll see how it translates into small one-on-one fights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a jab or some such strike, doesn't really matter which one. After I throw this jab, if you take a look at my feet, I'm going to take a step back so that there's a space here. What this space is basically the trap. So I'm going to go pow, and then I'm just waiting for his front foot to move. And when his front foot steps forward, I'm also going to step forward. And in this case, it doesn't really matter which technique you throw, but I'm getting him to move forward, setting a trap. As he moves forward, I move forward, so it's kind of like a car accident, right? This car's coming fast this way, this car's coming fast this way, so you get a lot more power in the middle. So I go jab, I take this step back. When he comes in with that step crossing this line, going one more step there for me, I move at the same time. I'm moving my head offline, obviously, so I don't get hit with the same counter, but it's the creating a trap for my opponent. So I'm not just thinking like jab and cross. I'm thinking jab, he stays there for a half second while I step back. Now he has to cross this to get to me, and when he does, I step in. So we're seeing the same thing that the Mongols did, where you're pretending to run away, you're pretending to get away, and when they come in, you go pow. Setting a trap. So let's look at that maybe in wrestling. So we'll start from an under over. And I'm going to do a hip toss on him. But I'm going to do it in the same methodology. First, I'm going to go into him and kind of push into him a little bit. He's going to take a step back. Then I'm going to move my hips away. I'm actually going to kind of almost run away from him. So what he's going to want to do then is follow me. As I get away, he's going to follow me in. It's the same idea. I'm creating that no man's land. So here, as he comes in, I'm going to fit in here. So as he's stepping, I'm going to step across, fit in on this hip, and bring him right over. So I'm pushing into him, then retreating, and as he steps in, I step across and bring him right over. And you can go as high amplitude if you want to get your leg out there and really toss him as you want. But the point is that I'm pushing in, pretending to retreat, and as he crosses that no man's land, or no woman's land, they get tossed. The last one we're going to do is the same idea, but from grappling. We'll start in the guard. So in the guard, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pretend to get up. I'm going to go away from, we can just do basic shoulder check. I create space with my hips, and I'm going to get up here. Well, Dom doesn't want me to get up. He's like, no, I work to take you down. So he's going to duck underneath and try to hold me down on my hips. And when he's doing that, I'm waiting as I try to get up, and I'm going to slide in my guillotine right underneath by creating a little bit more space, beat the shoulder out, put my hips out, get the head on the ground, and then, of course, your guillotine is right here. This works well because as I'm getting up here and creating the space, this is just a trap, I'm waiting on his neck. He has to drive forward to get me back down, in this case. So when he does that, I can catch his neck pretty deep. So the transition time between here, again, I'm making that space, him driving into me to get back down, and me catching that neck gives me a really good angle. Of course, my hips go out to the side over here, putting all that weight there, and I get the guillotine. So one idea, the idea of creating kind of getting your opponent a little upset, if you will, then stepping back and creating that trap that they can spring. Once they step onto that trap, you can do strikes, you can do throws, you can do submission holds, but it's allowing an opening to be created. So you're not just thinking jab cross. You're thinking, I'm going to set a trap with my jab. I'm going to set a trap with my get up. I'm going to set a trap with forward pressure and then leaving. And those underlying ubiquitous strategical principles, once you understand that, you can understand combat in any range.